Emotional trauma is real. I know that to be a fact. Another fact I know is that while it may fade, it doesn't go away on its own. Today's story is a story about two things. It's a story about one of our youngest twins getting quite sick and us having to rush her off to the ER. It's also a story about our reaction to it, because our twins in July were emergently delivered by C-section and spent about 2.5 months in the NICU. And nearly every day of that time, honestly, even when they were doing well, we were terrified. We were terrified they weren't going to pull through. That's emotional trauma, and it's real. So part of the story today is about my wife, Bree, and my reaction to this experience, the current experience of our daughter getting sick, and how we each dealt with it differently. I'm pretty much just going to let the footage play out and not contrive a story, just let you see it.
So you're gonna call and just ask, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of want to wait and just keep checking in.
So frustrating with doctors, because you know they're just gonna say, oh, just take her into the doctor, but it's like,
What's the doctor going to do for us?
the problem is that it's different with babies under 3 months old if they have fever over 100.4. And I don't know that I've ever had a baby this young have a fever. And we don't even take you anywhere. How come you're sick? But see, that's the thing, is the reason is because babies under 3 months are more susceptible to like infections in their body that can go sepsis. I'm sorry. So thankful she can nurse. This is so hard.
I know.
But for so many reasons. It's like terrifying, because if they get sick, it's like a whole different thing. But I'm also like really traumatized by doctors from the NICU experience. And I'm just like terrified to have to go to a doctor. Which is why you're awesome, because you could take her, but then I feel like I need to be there to like hold her and nurse her through it. You know what I mean?
Those boys are playing in their bed.
They're having fun. All the giggles. At least it's not screaming. It's just as loud if the door's shut.
Hey guys, it's bedtime. You need to go to sleep now and quit playing. I'm serious. She's on a formula she's been on since before she left the hospital. Just because initially she wasn't able to get enough through just breastfeeding. But they're on just the breast milk and then the formula. And they've done really well with the weight gain and stuff on all that. She had a bowel movement 2 days ago.
She pooped a little bit yesterday,
It may have been
too.
yesterday. What color was it?
Normal. It's like a mixture of breast milk and formula poop.
My wife said it's a mixture of breast milk and formula food. It was, but the one I had 2 days ago was a little bit extra stinky, but nothing like crazy out of the ordinary. It's like yellowish, a little bit greenish. But. It's okay. I know. But we're gonna. It's not gonna be the same. It's not the same.
What if they admit her? I don't know what I should do. Do I take her? Do you take her? What do I do about
I'll
him?
take her. She's my baby.
But she needs me because I have the boobies.
I'll stay right with her though.
She needs me. If they're gonna give her IVs and stuff, she needs to be able to nurse.
I know. You're in no state to take her to the hospital though.
I can sit here. If you get something, come up.
We're gonna have someone come.
But I can sit here so you don't have to wait for them to take you.
I can just take her for now if you want.
No.
I can stay here with anything. Yeah, we can stay here.
You guys, we're not leaving you here by yourselves.
No, we're.
I will be too worried the whole time. Okay? What did the doctor say?
She said she thinks we should take her to the ER just because she's so basically potentially vulnerable with her age and how going to be born, and with the weirdness in her throat that is possibly blood.
What else would it have been? It looked like blood. What else would be in her body?
Good question.
I mean, if it was something other than blood, that would actually be worse, right? If it was like bile or like poop or something, that would be worse than blood, right?
How do we want to do it logistically if we have to go to the ER?
I don't know what to do.
I think I should just take her. I'll take really good care of her, and if they're going to admit her, you come down.
I don't want her to get any procedures done unless I'm there.
They're going to draw blood cultures.
Then I'm going. I need to nurse her while she has that.
Okay, we probably both need to go then, right? So are we going to wait for someone to drive over here?
No, because he can't go into the hospital. I'm not leaving him here without you.
Okay, but you're not going to handle being in there alone with her very well.
I will suck it up. I am this way here in my home. I won't be that way in public.
I know. You'll do good.
I'm just really traumatized.
I know. I don't want her to be in the hospital. Or I don't want her to be in the ER. I don't want her to have to get blood cultures or x-rays or anything.
I don't even know if they'll let both of us in. Last I heard, there was only one parent for one patient.
Do you want, how important is it that someone rides in the back with her? Do you want Grace to ride with you and go have someone, grandma pick her up or something? Or is that just too complicated?
No, that was when she was on her monitor, that I wanted someone back there. This is like my worst nightmare, having to go back there.
I know. I don't think we'd be going back if it wasn't for that throat weirdness. I don't know how else to explain it other than blood, but I also know that it was very, very little. And it's like...
But why is it there? I mean, I get that you're a nurse and you've seen the worst of the worst.
That's the thing, is I don't think we were just going to explain it with a nosebleed or anything. I don't think she's had a nosebleed.
We would know if she had a nosebleed.
I know. That's the thing.
What I'm saying is that you, as a nurse, you tend to be like, oh, it wasn't that bad. But this is a 8-week-old premature baby. Like, 5-month-old, but 8 weeks adjusted premature baby is not the same thing. I don't want to leave him, though.
Oh, he'll be fine.
I know he'll be fine, but you don't understand. I don't like leaving them.
I know.
I don't mind going to the store, but like when I had to leave the other day for Joy's birthday, I did not like being gone all day.
You do need to go into town, not out here.
What?
You need to go into town, not out here.
Why?
They don't have capacity to do anything out here.
I really don't want to go to Mission.
They're gonna transfer you. They're not gonna. If they do anything other than just bounce you off the ER, you're going to.
Oh, Jesus.
You could go out here to the little hospital, and they may just watch her run blood cultures and send you home.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with doing that?
It's just the possibility of ending up Yeah, trying to send her in an ambulance or something silly.
Well, I'll just say no, I'll take her myself. Like the time with Joyful when she broke her leg. They wanted to send her in an ambulance, and I said no, I'll just drive her. Yeah, I mean that pretty much convinced me to go to Mission. That she would have like so much experience in drawing her blood from a tiny baby, and she wouldn't have to be poked over and over by somebody inexperienced.
They're most likely going to draw her blood. They're going to do an X-ray. And then I don't
need you
know.
to plug my phone in. It's about to die.
I don't know what else they're going to do.
Do you have a car charger?
They're going to check her some labs.
You had a car charger before. Do you know where it is?
Not offhand.
Because you made me look for it.
Yeah.
Why is she sick? It's okay, baby. Should I change her clothes? Because she just threw up on herself.
Yeah, she threw up on herself.
But I still want to bother her.
She'll be fine. Change your clothes.
Well, no, I wiped it all off.
Okay.
I need to
She's
change
clean.
my clothes.
Yes,
Oh,
you do.
baby
Alright, let me see if I can lay him down.
her. Okay, what's going on if you haven't caught on to it yet is Truly is sick. So she kind of felt bad today and just was sleepy and a little fussy. We didn't think a lot of it, but then she developed a fever this evening. Little lady. And then baby's under 3 months old. Fevers can be really rapidly progressing to serious infection or a sign of a really serious infection coming on. And she's technically older than 3 months, but because she was a preemie, they actually view a lot of things age adjusted from their due date, which would make her only 2 months old. And then she threw up and there what looked like a little blood in it. So we're actually going to take her to the ER. It's about 9 o'clock at night, so there's not any other options. So that's what's happening. It just feels like a little bit of it feels like we're going back. So it's scary.
Her buckled. I'm gonna find her favorite blanket.
Her favorite blanket?
Well, yeah.
Mama's gonna get your favorite blanket
It's
for
her
you.
Nana blanket. She needs her Nana blanket.
Pretty girl.
And then,
So sorry you have to go.
oh gosh.
Everything's gonna be okay though.
And then here's her hat. Here's her blanket. Girls, you ready?
Pretty.
Kiss for Will.
Okay, so it's the next morning. It was a long night. I had a long night because I was up like 4 or 5 times feeding Royal and talking to Bree on the phone from the hospital.
You ready for Santa
it didn't really turn out how we expected because after talking to our on-call doctor, the pediatrician, I was convinced like, oh, this is a big deal. We need to get her in to the ER. They're gonna run blood cultures, check her labs. I was thinking they're gonna x-ray her belly, they're gonna have to stick her and draw labs, and Bree took her to the ER. And the ER just bounced her off. Like, the ER doctor looked at her and said, she looks great. And her fever was down. They checked her for a urinary tract infection, which she didn't have. And they sent her home. So Bree got home like an hour and a half ago, and she literally didn't sleep at all. So she's sleeping upstairs. I'm about to go scoop up both babies and bring them down so she can sleep. It makes me feel a little bit crazy because our pediatrician, the on-call pediatrician, was agreeing with us that because Trulia is so small and potentially so vulnerable, almost like a 2-month-old, in her mind she was saying we should treat her like a 2-month-old, which is kind of what we were thinking, like that's how big she is. And that's from her conception, that's how old she is. From her birthday, she's 5 months old. But she was delivered so early, in our mind, we're like, she should be treated like a 2-month-old as far as fever goes. And then the doctor looks at her, says she looks good. And that's what we thought too. We thought she looks pretty good, but she's having these fevers and then threw up, and there's like flecks of blood in it, which he has a weird take on that. Anyway, I'm just struck with how when we come in contact with the healthcare system in the United States, we're just left kind of like, what is happening? Because it's like depends on what physician you're talking to as to their perspective. It depends. Now, on the other hand, it looks like he's right. She's been fine through the night. She looks great this morning. She's up there snoozing. So I think I'm hoping and thinking his judgment was right, but it was literally him looking at her, which we have our own judgment, and we looked at her and we thought she looked good as well. There's good things. She's not lethargic. She was sleepy. She was arousable. Her breathing looked good. Her stomach wasn't hard. Those are all things we already knew. Anyway, it's an interesting system. I think the more I have kids and bring kids to the doctor, the more I think, barring really extreme things where you need diagnostic tests, I think parents who are careful. Ooh, I hear a baby crying. I think parents have as good a judgment as doctors on just like their gut of how's this baby doing. I need to go grab the babies. All right, Royal. This is Royal. Oh, it's okay. He woke up first, so he's getting a little bottle, and then we'll get Truly next. I guess what I'm saying, and this is honestly delirious daddy, not my most well thought through thoughts, but what I'm saying is, we'll do anything to make sure our babies are well. We'll go to the hospital, hit the ER, whatever we have to do. Take him to the doctor, take him to their well checks. But in a situation like this, I guess what's confusing is if the doctor's just going to go with their gut and their kind of overall clinical assessment and not going to, use the resources of the hospital to do tests and stuff, then we could have just done that. I don't know. I'm just talking out loud. I don't regret taking her.
And I think it was probably worth getting another set of eyes on her. But all the things, he looked at her and said, she looks okay. We knew all that. Things have turned out well so far. She looks really good up there. So I'm happy for that. Mama is still sleeping. She needs to sleep till lunchtime at least. We're gonna be chill and quiet and take care of the babies down here and make breakfast.
Can I make something?
Yeah, you can make oatmeal or something if we have oatmeal.
Can I make
I guess
something?
you can help make oatmeal. I guess when it comes down to it though, with ER doctors, like that is their skill, in my view, is the clinical judgment, making those decisions. So I guess they're pretty good at it. And I think and hope this one was completely right. That this isn't a big deal. There's an explanation.
Some fried eggs.
Fried eggs, we'll make fried eggs. So that is their specialty. That's what ER doctors do. They're decision makers, and they're the gatekeepers of the hospital. So that's all they do every day. 20, 30, however many patients they see a day. That's all they're doing. Is making those calls, and they get a lot of practice. So, okay, here's the superstar troublemaker, Truly. Oh my goodness! Let's get you your bottle. Do you still not feel good? It's okay. Oh baby, let's get her bottle.
It's okay, bud. It's okay, bud. Hey, big smile. I see the big smile. Big smile for the big smile.
Hey Justice, will you bring me those two baby blankets? Any two baby blankets. Just nice ones.
It's a crazy day when you're drinking your first cup of coffee and then you just got out of bed. You never do that.
At least I'm doing it at my house, not at the hospital.
All right, where are we at?
That was the weirdest ER visit of my life.
Yeah.
So the whole reason we were going, our doctor sent us to the emergency room is because he's worried that a baby her age and her prematurity and the throwing up and the different things is that she could be developing sepsis or toxicity, which can happen in babies under a certain age because like the lining of their cells or something is really thin and it happens a lot easier. So I go to the emergency room. I go with her because that means she needs a blood draw, and I want to nurse her through that blood draw so that it's not as painful for her. And I was obviously very upset about having to go to the hospital, but I just cried about it and then moved on, and it was fine. I told the kids, Mom's gonna be brave now. Everyone was nice. It was just a really strange visit. The doctor didn't comprehend the situation, or he was just, it's I don't want to be rude about doctors, but this particular doctor, I was like, he's like, she's fine, she's 5 months. I was like, well, she's adjusted 8 weeks. He's like, nope, she's 5 months. And I was like, that was my first oh gosh, this isn't the right doctor, because that's not true. Every medical personnel out there, every medical professional, anyone in the medical community who comes in contact with this baby wants to know her actual age and her adjusted age. It's extremely important.
Well, if you look at her weight, she's I think in the 5th or 6th percentile.
If she was to be
for 5 months, she's a extremely small 5-month-old baby.
That's one of the reasons that They go by adjusted age.
Because physiologically
Daddy,
she's
look
2
at
months
this
old.
one.
Physiologically, yeah. And her brain and everything developmentally.
Beautiful.
And I guess even medically from what I was reading. So, because her development happened, her in utero development happened outside of the womb. But that didn't, so that caught her up to like gestational age, and then now she's 8 weeks. So anyway, I don't want to criticize the hospital system just for the sake of criticizing it, but I have some pretty strong criticisms about our experience in the ER last night. I have 7 children. I don't need to go to the ER 99.9% of the time. This is a different situation. This is a premature baby who had a 101.5 fever. Anything over 100.4 is considered dangerous in a baby this young. And also she vomited and had blood in it. So anyway, I get there. I know the reason our doctor is sending us to the ER is to get a blood test. The man won't give her a blood test. He acted like I was crazy and irrational and ridiculous because I was asking him why he wasn't doing more tests. I don't want her poked. That's the last thing in the world I want. But that's why we were there. We weren't there to rule out a UTI. We weren't there to be told, oh, she looks fine, which is what he told me. We weren't there to be told that, oh, no, she's 5 months. So anyway, he tried to tell me that the reason she vomited was because I had or the reason she had blood in her vomit was because I have cracked nipples. He literally said that to me. I was like, I don't have cracked nipples. I would know if I had cracked nipples. He did test her for a UTI and was trying to catheterize her, which I was like, you are not putting a catheter in this baby. You can put a bag on her. I don't know. I could tell you like 20 things.
It's just a weird night.
It was a weird
but
night.
we're hoping he's right about everything.
Okay, so ultimately, we think he is right. We think that she's fine. Oh, do you hear that? Yeah. She's so hot and sick and does not feel good. I'm not afraid of my babies getting sick. I don't rush to the ER for a fever. We went to the ER because her doctor was concerned about something very specific and obviously wanted the labs done last night. We could have gone to the doctor today and got our labs done, and may very well still. I need to call the doctor this morning. Or this afternoon. What time is it? A couple of things I'm thankful for. The doctor was actually very kind, even though he made 0 sense. He wasn't rude, which was really nice. The drive to Asheville was actually kind of lovely. Grace and Joyful came with me to sit in the back with Truly. And then they spent the night at their grandma's. And it was actually this really sweet time with them. Truly's, I think, probably fine. She looks great. I mean, she's obviously sick, but she doesn't look like toxic sick. But I guess that's something you wouldn't know without a blood test until it's super bad. So that doesn't really mean anything. But she's nursing. She's nursing, which is great.
I mean, I like his approach. He's saying she looks great. Let's watch her closely. You watch her closely, but we're not going to stick her. But he's making the call that she doesn't need anything else right now.
I would like his approach if he wasn't saying dumb things.
Well, I'm not saying
when people
I like
say
that
dumb
approach.
things, it's like, and you're at a hospital.
Yeah.
It's very disconcerting.
It's hard to swallow everything else they say.
You're like, wait a second. And then whenever doctors tell you different things, and whenever your own mind that has a lot of experience with your own children is telling you other things, it's all very confusing. And of course, having preemies, I kind of feel like a first-time mother because things are different. Everything is different with premature babies. I don't think most people realize that, how different it is for them, even after they come out of the hospital. We are so isolated, it's not even funny. I don't think people probably know that. A lot of you guys watch Justin and Rebecca. You haven't seen us at any of their events. It's not because we don't want to go, it's because we can't go. We don't go anywhere. Our kids have had to totally not do any of their usual things. With school this year, we basically have been in almost total isolation. I'm not saying we haven't chosen one or two specific things and then been super careful at them, because I think mental health is important too. But everything with these babies is different. They've never been to a store. They've never been anywhere. And that's fine, because we're going to protect them, and that's what needs to happen. But I'm not going to say that it's not difficult, because it is difficult. It is difficult to miss every single family get together that my family is having this year. It's very difficult. It's difficult to miss my cousin's baby shower. It's difficult to not see any of my family over Christmas. It's very difficult to feel super disconnected from my friendships. And those are some of my support systems. Not that they're not supportive, but I feel very disconnected. And after a very hard year, I would like to feel connected. So.
Those things, but they have to be ginormous if they're suited. And you have to easy ones that are low.
Wilder's been going for 20 minutes.
Yeah, just this done. I promise this is not.
I mean, he literally hasn't stopped for 20 minutes. Non-stop.
My jelly board. Do you know the thing I just dolled some kind of animals?
Really?
You know I dolled them.
That was quite a story you just told us. That was like 15 minutes without stopping of all your ideas.
This is the, but it's not done.
It's not done. Okay.
Bugs. You know what they eat? They actually eat some lions.
There's Miss Truly. Beautiful lady. It's been a crazy day.
On the house.
Yeah. I think I'm just in a strange position as a mother where usually I know exactly what to do when my kid's sick.
Yeah.
I can treat our kids myself. We don't need to go to the doctor or go to the hospital unless they've broken something or it's real serious. But with preemies, it's just like a whole nother ball game. So she still has a high fever for her age. If it was an older baby or one of my bigger kids, I wouldn't worry about her fever at all, but that temperature at all. But I just wish there was like someone I could talk to that really knew preemies that I could just talk to, because I don't feel like anyone in the medical field that I've talked to actually knows what they're doing in this case.
So pretty much we're going to be watching Truly closely. We're keeping her home for now unless something changes. She still looks good. She's still eating and drinking. She had a good waking period this evening, but she still has the fever. She hasn't thrown up anymore. So anyway, that's what we're doing. We'll let you know how things are going, but I expect she'll just slowly get better from a little viral something. So that's what we're thinking. Bye.